Very excited to be here, and this afternoon we're going to talk about cybersecurity and the efforts that Intel is being putting in place, and I'm going to spend a little bit of time on the focus we've increased in this area to look at the current and the future threat landscape. And it's important that we have this conversation because we don't want cybersecurity to get in the way of the possibilities that computing can unleash for us, and that's what we're going to talk about. Hey, can we move the slides? Oh, thank you. All right. So, first thing I want to do is I want to talk about Moore's Law. And for over 2 decades, we have been applying Moore's Law to cybersecurity. In fact, over there, the slide. Can we move the slides, please? Okay. Thank you. For 40 years, Moore's Law has been setting the pace for innovation in the industry. And for the last 2 decades, specifically, we have been applying Moore's Law to cybersecurity to achieve 3 things. Number 1, deliver a hardware root of trust that the industry can count on as it innovates. Second, security capabilities that are not getting in the way from a performance point of view. And third, the ability to deliver cybersecurity at a lower cost. And that's been the focus for the better part of the last 2 decades for us in cybersecurity. However, with Moore's Law comes some unintended consequences. And there are a number of challenges that we are facing in the cybersecurity space as a result of Moore's Law being available to everybody. And I'm going to highlight 3 of those challenges. The first challenge is what we call the surface area that continues to grow. If you look at what Moore's Law has done, it has enabled lots of devices, billions of devices, and each one of those devices represents a growing surface area of attack. So that's the first challenge that we're having to deal with in cybersecurity. The second challenge is something we call symmetry, and it's the fact that today's technology cannot tell a good actor from a bad actor. Okay? So the technology symmetry is the second challenge that we're dealing with. So that same tool that some of us we want to use to defend ourselves and protect our business is also available to an attacker to go after the business. And then there's the third challenge that we're having to deal with in cybersecurity, and that is complexity. We all love our devices, we all love our widgets, but a lot of these devices don't come with the self-healing and the self-defending capabilities that are really required to deal with today's threat landscape. So, great advantage with Moore's Law. It unleashes a lot of possibilities for us, but it also enables some challenges that we're going to have to deal with. So, what do we do about this, right? How are we going to deal with this landscape that we're dealing with here? These challenges, that the surface area, the symmetry, and the lack of self-defenses are representing opportunities in the landscape. And in fact, you can see here a number of different threats that you can read it. You can almost get up every day in the press and read about these threats, right? They're everywhere. And in fact, they continue to grow in their impact. And we're getting some pretty strong signals of the economic impact that these attacks are having. So I'm sure, I didn't use an example here from India, but I'm sure that the situation is likewise here. And something we're going to have to understand and internalize is that if we're going to continue to advance the state of the industry, let's take Digital India as an example, right? If we are going to make that possible, we're going to have to deal with the challenges of this threat landscape that we're dealing with. Okay? So, how are we going to do this? Let me go back to that question. We have been advocating and asserting that in order for us to solve this challenge, we're going to have to come together and collaborate. And that's one of the reasons we're here, because we need your help. And we want to collaborate to solve something that we call the trust calculus for cybersecurity. The trust calculus for cybersecurity. And we need the talented, the innovative folks here in India and around the rest of the world to really work with us on solving this. And I want to start first by describing the 3 variables of our trust calculus. The first variable is the application of Moore's Law to cybersecurity. The second is our collaboration and our work on workloads that are built with for cybersecurity, think blockchain, which we'll talk about in a little bit, or making sure that we're designing security into our products, into our technologies, into our innovation. And then the third variable of our trust calculus is cyber-focused partnerships with industry and academia. And again, that collaboration with industry is a very important part of what we're doing here at NASSCOM. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you where is Intel's focus in solving this trust calculus. And you'll see here that we have a number of different areas that represent both areas of innovation in cybersecurity. You see 5 here on the screen. And they also represent opportunities for collaboration with Intel. So both innovation in cybersecurity as well as collaboration with us. So let me give you a bit of insight into each one of these, starting with confidential computing in the cloud. Okay? Confidential computing in the cloud is a space where we're using hardware-based security to ensure that workloads, the data, the memory, the code, the applications are protected from unintended consequences. And for those of you who watch our space, watch Intel, you've noticed that since the middle of August, we have been announcing almost weekly a collaboration around confidential computing in the cloud. And in fact, this is going to be very useful for a number of different usages. And the one that I like in particular is the ability to give multiple parties the ability to do machine learning algorithm collaboration in a secure environment in the cloud. And in fact, this work in confidential cloud, again, is at the heart of our collaboration that we first announced with Microsoft and Azure, and we've been announcing with others after that event in the middle of August. The next one is IoT and our use of a technology called Enhanced Privacy ID to address some of the big challenges in that space. The Internet of Things represents one of the fastest, if not the fastest, surface of attack in the industry. And our work in the industry is centered on the use of a hardware-based, privacy-aware identity technology that will enable us to automate the onboarding of IoT devices into a secure lifecycle. And for any one of you here working on smart cities, this is a fundamental opportunity for us to go address. You want all those sensors, you want all the devices that are going to modernize those cities to be onboarded with security from the beginning. Okay? Next is content protection. And I know that a lot of you love your cinema and cinema VR. Content protection is an area where we have been delivering hardware-based security technologies to enable the delivery of content in all sorts of formats. Standard definition, high definition, 4K most recently, and moving forward, virtual or augmented reality, and 8K. And you're not going to be able to engage and enjoy those experiences unless we can provide the right security platforms for you to have availability to this content. Okay? We also need that content protection because we have to give the producers the opportunity to understand and to monetize the intellectual property, the art that they are creating. Okay? Next up is the work that we're doing around transactions. And there are a number of hardware technologies that are giving customers added security when they shop online, and there's lots of innovations in this space. For those of you, again, who watch the payment and the transaction industry at Money 2020, Intel made a number of announcements around using hardware to secure payment, to secure transactions, to secure Bitcoin wallets, to secure a number of other different assets. Now, in addition to the payment innovation, and the last area of innovation and collaboration with Intel is multi-factor authentication. And if you look at the enterprise space, and I showed 3 examples of significant breaches in the industry, what's the number one cause of these breaches in enterprise environments? Is the fact that somebody has access to the wrong credentials. And that's why this area of multi-factor authentication is going to be such an important area for us to also collaborate. Okay? So we've covered 5 areas that are opportunities in the cybersecurity space to collaborate with Intel, right? And if those 5 technology areas were not enough and didn't offer enough opportunities for all of us here, I want to highlight 4 other fast, and I mean fast emerging technology areas for which cybersecurity is going to be fundamental to their success. And you can see them here. Artificial intelligence, you better protect your models, you better protect your algorithms, you better protect your data. Assisted driving and connected cars, that goes without saying, right? Without the right level of security, a lot of really significant issues can happen, and we're dealing here with people's lives, which make them even more significant. End-to-end security is going to be fundamental to 5G and to all that content and all the different usages that 5G is going to enable. And last but not least, augmented and virtual reality. So lots of opportunities for us to collaborate. So I said earlier, we have to solve for this trust calculus, and the trust calculus has 3 variables. We've just covered the opportunities around the use of Moore's law and the hardware design that we're doing and applying that to cybersecurity. Let's talk about the second variable, which is workloads that are designed for cybersecurity. And any presentation about security, and I would argue any presentation period, usually touches on blockchain and the opportunities that blockchain represents for the industry. So if you look at blockchain, Gartner, among many, but Gartner is forecasting that the global derived business value from the use of blockchain will reach $3.1 trillion US dollars by 2030. And where is that business value going to come from? It's going to come from 3 different areas. The first one is the estimated cost savings that are going to come from cost efficiencies, from business process optimization. Second, there will be some redistribution of markets through creative disruption. And third, of course, there's going to be a lot of innovation, a lot of business models are going to be created. And I'm not here really to talk about blockchain and hype it up. I'm here to talk about our commitment to making sure that all of you and our customers and our partners can actually get to realize that value, that $3.1 trillion by 2030. And we're going to do this because we understand that for blockchains to be successful, they need to deliver on the promise of trust and scalability so blockchains can operate at the speed of your business. Okay? And that's what we're committed to do. So there are 3 technology opportunities that Intel is laser beam focused to address when it comes to blockchain: privacy, security, and scalability. And again, with the objective of enabling and accelerating the industry adoption of blockchains to achieve that derived business value. Okay? And we're very busy building the appropriate hardware and software technologies to address these issues. And one of the opportunities that we want to encourage you to engage with Intel about is helping us design the technologies of the future, not only for this workload, for other workloads. Okay? That's why we're so engaged with the development community. Now, we've covered now the second variable of our trust calculus, which is the workload. And just like I mentioned blockchain, there are many other workloads that we will continue to design with security and for security moving forward. But what I want to talk about is now the third variable of the trust calculus, which is our collaboration with the industry and academia. Okay? And what you see here up on the screen is all the collaboration work that we've been very busy at work, just on the blockchain and the payment segment. So you can see here, over the last year, we've been busy with a lot of major partners and a lot of innovative partners. Someday, I hope some of you get to be on this page because of your collaboration with Intel, but the opportunities are there, many of them. And I also want to take this opportunity to reinforce our commitment to collaboration in India specifically. And I want to emphasize the fact that we're ready to solve for this trust calculus with you today. And I want to do that by sharing with you an announcement that actually was made late yesterday between Intel and Prime Chain Technologies. And we announced a technical collaboration to deliver an enterprise-class blockchain solution in support of the objectives of the State Bank of India, who's going to adopt Intel technology and our hardware and software for their blockchain solution. Okay, and they're going to do this to manage authentication and verification process in the bank. This collaboration is in support of the State Bank of India, as they're focused on delivering safer and a more secure banking system for those of you and some of your colleagues in country who will benefit from the security that we're building and the implementation of blockchain solutions on the most secure platform available today for these types of applications. Okay? So we're really excited about this. We're excited to be here in front of you telling you that we have a trust calculus that is how we lead a lot of our investments and strategies, and the fact that we're executing on it on the hardware technologies, on the enhancement of workloads, and also on the industry collaboration front, and being able to announce this here and reinforce that we're ready to partner with you right here, right now. Okay? So, let me summarize. This threat landscape that we're dealing with is going to require an industry focus and an industry collaboration. We need to continue to apply Moore's Law to cybersecurity. We're very committed to doing that. We need to continue to work on these workloads like blockchain that are designed with this concept of trust in mind, but we need to also bring security to many of the other workloads that are going to unleash a lot of possibilities for us. And last but not least, we need to continue to work, and we're committed to working with you on industry and academia collaborations that are focused on addressing the cybersecurity challenges that the industry and the world at large is facing today. Okay? Now, before I leave, technology is transforming our lives in many ways, and one of the ways technology does that is through some amazing experience that augment what's possible for all of us today. And does anybody know that person on the screen? I heard he is a big deal in India. Yes? All right. A.R. Rahman, right? And worldwide. Some of you would argue that A.R. Rahman's work is already at perfection. And I'm not going to debate you on that. His artistic talents are amazing. But if you take his artistic talents and you combine them with a little bit of technology, including content protection, which I talked about, we can actually get to produce something quite special. So, as I leave the stage, I want to thank the organizers, NASSCOM, for the opportunity to address you here. I want to thank you for your time, and I expect you and hope that you have a very productive rest of your time as NASSCOM. So I'm going to walk off the stage, and I'm going to leave you with a short video that highlights the collaboration between Intel and A.R. Rahman. So, please enjoy the video.
I'm very pleased to announce our first VR immersive project, LeMask. 3D, high quality, more than 4K, 360. We've been going through amazing experiences learning about it for the past year and a half. Discovering new techniques and new ways to tell stories. LeMask is an immersive project. I've been trying to tell stories through music so far, and somewhere the interest in virtual reality made the lines blur and compelled me to take the step with visuals and directing. VR is a game changer. Opens a whole new dimension of creativity. We shot this in Rome, and we have the lead, Nora Arnezidar, Guy Burnett, and Munira.